Welcome to Wedding Day Podcast with your hosts, Sonja Babich, CEO of Iron Diamond Media, a leading wedding resource featuring 7 localized wedding brands across the country.
Hi everybody, Sonja here with Wedding Day Podcast. We are at the beautiful Grand Hyatt in Seattle, downtown Seattle, and our guest today is Michelle Rankin, owner of Tipsy Society. She is the owner and lead mixologist of her company and has been doing it for 25 years. And we're so excited to introduce you all to her. So, hi Michelle.
Hi.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Mixologist, I love that.
It's a big word for me, I'm not gonna lie.
It sounds so cool.
Yeah.
It does.
Sounds fancy. That's
Like
the
a
fancy
Bunsen
term.
burner and except with alcohol.
So this is, of course, a hot topic with every conversation with the wedding about the bar and where we're going to serve, and they have these dream cocktails, and I feel like couples don't really have a reality of of the bar situation, right? They want it all. They want a full service bar, but like speed's also important. Yes. How do you start the process with couples when they reach out to you to be like, this is what we're envisioning for our bar?
Yeah. So I have our couples come in to our tasting room and we sit down and go through it. And I give them kind of ideas before they come in, and then I have them tell me what their ideas are. And then when we sit down, I go through it and I say, okay, you've got 150 guests and you want smoked old fashions, and that's going to not be possible. Like, we try in the nicest way to say things, because the line is important. That is the biggest thing. And they've got an idea of what they want, and it's just not realistic if they want their bar line to flow fast. So for larger crowds, I always give them really good suggestions of cocktails that are good for large crowds, things that we can batch beforehand to help move that line through, things like that. Smaller crowds, I can spend more time and do something more elevated with that smoke show and things like that.
Smoke show.
Yes, the smoked old fashions. If they still are set on that old fashioned that's, the smoked one, we go through the explanations of like kegging cocktails and smoking the kegs, and we try to come to a compromise, but for us, the show and the presentation is going to be a little bit different doing that with the size.
Can you give us some examples of cocktails that you can set up ahead of time, like you'd mentioned?
Yeah.
What did you call it?
Batch. We pre-batch,
Pre-batch,
You're batching cocktails. And so batching cocktails in a keg, we can make a lot of things in there. Lavender lemonades, things that don't have a lot of...
In a keg.
In a keg, yeah. And then it actually has carbonation that goes through it, and you can pump it out. Yeah. Oh. We get all our kegs from Cold Break. It's a place actually over in your guys' area. So, yeah, it's out that way, and we have them delivered, and they're cold. They come out of the kegs.
So do you send in the recipe to them, and they mix it all together, and then? No.
I have all the kegs, so we have all the supply at our house, like all the keg equipment and all that. Yeah. They come in, and if the couple says it's okay to batch, then depending on whether or not I have I'm supplying the alcohol or they are, they'll have the alcohol on site for us. We'll have all the supplies, and then we batch it there on site. So we get in a couple hours early and just put it all in the kegs. And
I remember being at the club, pouring the beer, having the perfect, tip, and then you're constantly the whole routine to keep that beer and it flowing to help the line.
This is the same exact thing, except for it's cocktails coming out of the taps.
I know, that is so cool.
I thought kegs were only for beer, and I didn't know why they lived in kegs.
Yeah, there's cocktail kegs.
So it's in kegs because it's carbonated. So you can anything carbonated you can put in a keg.
You can put it all in there. Oh. Yep.
So again, just my past experience. So with having a specialty cocktail, do you have to change the line every time?
Yeah. I'll have to change the lines, clean the lines, do things like that, yes.
Yeah, because the flavor gets stuck in the line.
Yeah.
There's a whole process to cleaning the kegs afterward for beer, like any of it, because you have the kegs for wine too, any of that stuff. Mm-hmm.
Wow, so now I have to ask, what is the most lines that you had at a wedding for specialty cocktails? You just do Captain Diet?
I mean, you could. That one I probably wouldn't batch because it's 2 ingredients. When you have multiple ingredients, like 3 or over, that's more of like the batching in kegs for us. And I would say probably 250, 300 person weddings where we're doing palomas in a keg, things like that. So it really helps your line. It flows through very nicely compared to lined all the way around. People, and then they get right back in line because they just waited in line for so long. So those batches really save us.
So yours also share like the espresso martini is so hot right now. Like, do you batch that, or do you want to do like the sexy shake?
I like doing the shake just because it is important. The show is important. Like the presentation is important to me, but for a large wedding, that's impossible.
So when do you make that line between small and large?
I say 50 or over is 50 or over, and depending on what the cocktails are that they're selecting. Anything over 50 guests is going to be a line if you're doing a shaken or smoked drink. Margaritas are the same, very popular. You have to shake those. So I will batch them for the cocktail hour, usually, so that initial time when you hear I do, everybody runs to the bar, we'll have a full keg batched. Once that batch is done, then we will make to order and shake and do the show, because you don't have the line the same.
So I want to go back to the tasting.
Yeah.
When a couple comes in and they're tasting all these different...
I want to go to the tasting.
I want to go back there. Let's go back there for a minute. So how many different drinks can they choose? Do you have a set number? Do you say we limit it to 2?
Yeah.
Or?
I say 3 is the magic number. 3 cocktails gives plenty of options, and it doesn't overcrowd your menu. Yeah, because then you have beer and wine as well, and seltzers and some other things like that. So I don't want there to be a huge cluster on the menu, because that also slows up a bar line, having too many options. So 3 seems to be that perfect number.
Okay, then that leads to, you offer the 3 specialty drinks. Do you still have an open bar?
You
like
can.
Like to purchase, or not?
You can. I always suggest that do the signature cocktails during cocktail hour only. Again, line, making sure everything runs smooth. And then a lot of times if they want other options available after, we'll open it up after cocktail hour.
Got it. I was going to say blood alcohol levels too.
Correct.
Well, that's a good point too.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you can't get shots, or sometimes you can get shots. Do you offer those?
We do not offer shots.
Smart.
I agree.
We do not. And there's not only is that an overserving, overconsumption problem, it's an insurance requirement. So when you look at fine print in our insurances and many insurance companies' policies, there are no shots allowed. And it's the same with self-service. Anytime it'll say very finely in there, your insurance will void if you do shots or self-service.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So don't get mad at the bartenders. Don't get mad at the
tequila
staff.
poppers. I call tequila shots tequila poppers.
One thing we can all do though is hate the insurance companies.
That's true. Blame them. Blame them.
No. Do we have insurance company clients?
No, we don't. But
there are
someday.
There's so many times where everybody wants shots, and you also look at the venues. What are the venue rules? Do they allow them? Many venues do not allow them. Many venues will only allow 1 hour of cocktails, and then the rest is beer and wine. So the couple needs to be aware of that before making their menu in general. If they do want some sort of a shot, and I understand, sometimes it's religious things, and sometimes it's specialty for like a shot
religious.
wall, shot wall, things
shot
like that.
wall?
They do. They have shot walls, like champagne walls. They have shot walls.
No, that's alcohol abuse, you guys. That is
they do.
so intense.
They have a welcome wall that has shots on it.
Well, you see the cute little Patron bottles.
Yep.
Would that technically be a shot wall?
Yes.
Oh, but that's so cute.
That's what
though.
I'm saying.
I'm sorry, but that's so cute.
That's what I'm saying. So there's those scenarios like that where we understand visually you want this look to happen and things like that. So we work with them, and sometimes it's a fine line of putting some ice in drinks. It's like a neat. Some venues won't allow neat. You put some ice cubes in there, it's no longer neat. A couple ice cubes, things like that. So there are times where we will work with them and just try to, run that gray line a little bit to make sure that they have the shots that they want, meaning with photographers but not throughout the night, things like that. So.
Okay, so we're painting this beautiful picture of all these cocktails and endless ideas, right? But the cost to this is the sticker shock, I'm sure.
Yes.
So they have this tasting time and big dreams, and then they get the bill. How do you coach them through that?
I start with giving them just the complete rundown. Look, if you are what is your budget looking like? If you are thinking cost-wise that you need to stay in this area, then I would not recommend these options. If you're okay with this budget, then you can get a little bit more creative. Anytime you have something like an old fashioned or even a gimlet, something that's really liquor forward, your costs are going to go way up. When you start to do something a little bit like a lavender lemonade, which is a popular one, or a mule, something like that, where it's less alcohol, and that's the content of it is 1.5 versus 2 ounces or things like that, you're going to be in a lower range. So I give them options based off of that, what they're telling me.
Do you change like the different kind of like liquors to help the budget, like lower, not as yummy vodka versus a high-end vodka?
Yeah. They have options if they're getting the alcohol through us.
You know, I'm not a vodka girl, but I'm just like, you know what I mean?
Bush Light.
Yeah.
Bush latte.
Versus,
Yeah, they do. If they've got our base prices are going to be our what you would say. And then they have options to do premium upgrades, which is where they can also have that flex in cost.
So I don't drink, but I do love a fancy little concoction.
Yeah.
So what do you guys offer for
Mocktails.
Mocktails? Yes.
Mocktails.
Yeah, we do offer mocktails. I've got a great mocktail menu too. But when couples, large groups, are doing signature cocktails, I usually have a list of them that are good for cocktail and mocktail versions. And I keep going back to the lavender lemonade, but you could also do like a blood orange gin and tonic, but take out that gin. You could do the NA Spirit in there for that blood orange gin. There's a few options. Cost is obviously part of that, but glitter, edible glitter, things like that make it fun.
That is a thing.
So
that is a thing right now.
it is, edible glitter and things. So like a lavender lemonade, if someone comes up, such as yourself, and you say, I want this, the lavender lemonade, could you do it spirit free?
Or put in,
Absolutely.
Or put in a champagne.
Yeah. They have NA everything now, and there's some really great brands out there for spiritless options.
NA is kind of becoming the trend these days more than alcohol, and I have an opinion on that. I think drinking is kind of a luxury because it's expensive to drink.
It is.
But NA is becoming more of the thing for health.
Yeah.
In general, of course it is.
It is.
Yeah.
It's health, but also NA is not always cheaper with their NA
It's not.
spirits. The bottles
NA
are
is
Like you
actually
just said,
as
blood orange,
expensive.
a blood orange mocktail, like that is not cheap.
No.
It's never cheaper. Yeah. Every time I go, it's still, it's the same.
Yeah.
Same as the alcohol.
It really is, and sometimes people will question that. They'll say, why is it still the same when there's no alcohol in it? The supply doesn't change. The blood orange is still needing to be created. The rosemary that comes in it still needs to be there. Like, it doesn't change in that sense. They'll save maybe on the cost of the alcohol, but if we're using seedlip, let's say seedlip, which is the NA spirit that we like to put inside of that mocktail gin and tonic, that bottle costs just the same as a bottle of gin. So there is no
That makes sense.
safe right there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like lately you should expect to almost see a mocktail at a wedding.
Yes.
Right? Don't you agree? Like,
Yeah.
it's such a trend right now.
Yeah.
I suggest it to
Oh, do you?
everybody. Yeah, it's actually
Way
become-
better than the fruit punch before
Correct. And it's
back
just
in the day.
lemonade or soda cans or something like that. It's not as cool. People want to feel included with it and not feel like they're left out of something because they don't drink, and I think it's important to include them.
It was something that we really paid attention to for our events this year, is having a sexy mocktail, so then they didn't feel so singled out holding a Diet Coke.
Yes. Oh, you don't drink?
Wow. Why don't you drink?
Yeah. Yeah.
None of your
Why don't you have
business.
a beer? Why don't you not? Yes. Yeah. So if you're walking around with a blood orange gin and tonic, they wouldn't know whether or not there was gin in it or not. You're still just walking around with a spirit-free one.
Yeah.
So it's important.
Do they ever, you just make the mix and then you add the liquor?
Yeah.
Figured, but I had to ask.
No, I love it. That's the best route for us to go. And I'm going to tell you a secret.
What?
Over-serving and things like that, and helping us monitor over-serving. We will use that mocktail and they won't even know it.
Oh, that's so good.
We'll tell the couples that when they come in, obviously.
Yeah.
That's one of our routes of slowing someone down.
That's so
Diffusing
smart.
the situation without cutting them off. That's great.
Well, back in my day, we would just have to go open a NA beer and be like, here you go. But it's so much more easier.
that's really
That's
smart.
so smart.
don't even
Everybody
know.
take that secret.
Yeah. And if you've gotten to that point, you're not going to taste that there's not something
No.
in it anyway. So it's a perfect way of just de-escalating a situation and helping maintain the level.
We're going to get to
there.
that soon with that situation, because it's a big part of the wedding day.
Yeah, it is.
But the one question that I have never heard before, and you brought it up, was what's full service versus dry
Hire.
Dry hire. What's dry hire?
Yeah. So you see a lot of mobile bars out there now. They're popping up everywhere. And most mobile bar companies do not have a brick and mortar, which means they don't have a liquor license attached to their company. That means they cannot supply alcohol and they cannot sell alcohol. So they run as dry hires. They're a bartending service. They can bartend out of their trailers or out of the venue bar, either or, but they have the couple or the client supply all of the alcohol. And then they supply the ice and the mixers and things
Everything.
of that
You're just
nature. Yep. The couple just has the option to go to Costco or go wherever they'd like and supply that alcohol. And the dry hire company gives them a shopping list of what to grab based off of their menu. That saves a little bit for clients, but it also puts a lot on their plate. Mm-hmm. So they have to go and get it. They have to bring it. They have to have it packed up. There's a bunch that goes with it. So full service is when you have your liquor license and you're able to supply. That means you are doing all of the alcohol. You're bringing everything there. More expensive. Mm-hmm. It's under our liquor license. We're supplying everything. But
One-stop shop.
takes away so much stress and so much work on their end to do it that way. So
Yeah. And
again,
I'm
it's just cost.
And I'm sure like surprises on the day of like, where's the cherries?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can't get married without the cherries.
Yeah, there's definitely times where we've shown up and they're missing supplies, and that takes their whole menu off because we don't have the gin there. Or maybe they got one bottle of gin and then they got everything else because they weren't,
I'm sure that's so common.
So that's just us having to flip and change, and then your menu's off, which is never fun. But
It's like having a planner for the bar. You know, they don't. You won't forget all the things. You know all the things that they need, and yeah, that's
You're a
really- that's
well-oiled
really smart.
machine.
And we walk in feeling confident that we've got everything for the bar for the night, and it tends to run smooth.
And you know like what's typical with guest counts too. When we would have 300 weddings, we would go through a case of Captain.
Oh yeah.
No joke.
Yeah.
Case of a vodka.
Yep.
So when you know your guest counts, you know what to expect to like prepare for.
Yes. We have beverage calculators that are out there online everywhere. You know, there's some great companies around here that have their own that they've created, which is awesome. It helps us. But during that tasting that we do with the clients, we ask them some pretty important questions about their drinking style. Are you a heavy drinking crowd, average? I mean, we go through quite a few questions.
And
then we
the
get
age
that.
when they're getting married. There's a difference with
Are
that
you 21
too.
or are you 46?
When they're 23, it is like, you just know it's going to be a mosh pit.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
younger 20 weddings, it's just like, it's endless. They don't know where to stop.
Yep. Well, that's our job.
That's where you
stop you.
tell them to stop it. Yeah.
I'll stop you.
Yeah, so like, let's talk about that. Like, because I feel like you have your specialty cocktails and that's what you go into, but then that's why the Captain comes out to play, because it's easier to ask for, I'll just get a Captain Diet when they are 4 sheets already to the wind.
Yeah.
Like, but how, do you see that trend throughout the night when they're like, oh, the specialty is going away, they're going to their go-tos, or?
We do. We do try to gear them towards the specialties. A lot of times the couple has the option to have that full bar there or just keep it a signature cocktail all night. We do a lot of times push them towards keeping the same cocktails and not opening that bar up. Open bars are more expensive as well because we're having to stock for that. So a lot of times as soon as they hear the cost goes up, they'll switch out and go back to the signature cocktail option, and that's what we'll run all night. You'll always have your people coming up saying, well, can I just have the whiskey? I don't want anything with it. Unfortunately, no, you know.
And how do guests feel about that though? Because like my dad would be like, I don't want to have a specialty
Can I
cocktail.
do them in separate glasses? I'll mix them myself.
Oof.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you know, for the most part, people are really respectful of it.
I hope so.
We do have pushback every once in a while, and it's just a very polite, I don't make the rules, you know.
It's just
or,
educating
you know,
them,
yes.
because a lot of times we don't know. I didn't know. I didn't know that why signature cocktails were the same price as mocktails were the same price as a cocktail. So
yeah, it's educating them and then making sure that the clients or the couples know ahead of time that this is how it works. A lot of times they'll put it on their sites for people if they have like a knot site or some kind of site that their wedding stuff is on. They'll put some notes for the bar. We always tell them to do that. Bring your ID. Things like that. If it's a young crowd, notes about it being the signature cocktails all night, things like that. So hopefully they're educating their guests beforehand too.
So what? How do you handle again when there's a lot of drinking and you're trying to like control the crowd? Because you guys are like almost like babysitters in a sense. You see the energy
babysitters,
change.
all of them.
Yeah, like you really see like the energy, and then the energy's hot, and then you're like, oh, some people are having too much fun energy. Like, how do you control that or support it, I guess?
Yeah. So having fun is good. Having too much fun is not good. We've had some nightmares at events, and we've learned throughout the years that those mocktails are magic. Slow them down that way. That's our first go-to, and honestly, we don't have to go much further than that a lot of the time. If we do, planners are huge in that portion of it afterward. Water, and then letting planners know, communicating with your team, the whole vendor team, and just saying, look, this is what, this is where we're at with this person. And having everybody be on the same page and watching is huge. So that way it doesn't ruin, it have a tendency, if they overdrink, to ruin certain special moments or whatever. We don't want that. So just having us all on the same page and mocktailing them, water, having a hydration station at the bar right near to where I can say, well, maybe not now, but you need some of that water,
Right.
Things like that.
But it's true about communication, like the lead server, like, hey, that buddy over there is having a little too much fun. We got to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, and just monitoring, hey, we might have stopped service for them at the bar, but their friends are over there giving them their drinks and they're continuing service. So then the servers and, all of the staff is kind of watching that and helping us control that situation. So.
And why I feel like bartenders, servers, the venue, they care because it's their insurance. They're on their property. It's their liability.
Yes.
Guests don't think that way.
No. And it's one of the most important things for us going into weddings is who we work with. They promote us, they share us, they're part of like why we are who we are. So it's important for me to keep their name good as well and keep their venue good and safe and photos and all of these things. That's all important to me. So I really care about the venue as well as the bar and our insurance. Yeah.
So can you work at pretty much any venue, or I would imagine that venues that already have bars, do you work together, or you can't work?
With liquor licenses, you can't have multiple on site. And so a lot of places that have their own liquor license, they will never let another bar company come in.
No, they want the dough.
They have to use that. Yeah, and it's the money portion of it. I mean, that's their financial side of it, which I understand. So venues that have open vendor policies, we can work at. We're on preferred site, like preferred vendors for many of the venues, which is great. A lot of times we work with catering companies also, even if they have bar services available. If it's at a venue where we can work, they can pick any bartender. They'll have us working and then the catering company, and a lot of times we work together and just talk. But yeah, not all. That's been part of the struggle, I guess, as we grow and learn, is just breaking through some of those barriers and being able to work at places and them allowing us to work there. Right. Liquor's important, and they don't allow just anybody to come in and serve. They really want to know you and know that you're going to take care of their name and their bar. So just meeting people and breaking that has been part of our process.
So my team we've been publishing a lot of those towers, espresso martini towers, gin towers. How does that, how do you handle that? And that takes time to do that.
Yes, it does.
Do you love them or hate them?
So I love the photographs of them. I love all of that. We've done a lot of styled shoots that have included those, but it takes time. And they're not realistic when it comes to serving them at weddings.
Tell us why.
I mean, number one, it's the glassware. Someone's coming in and grabbing it could knock the whole thing down.
Oh my God.
Things like that. Number two, the drinks don't stay visually appealing if they're not taken
if there's
like
cream
right
in it.
away. Yeah, and I mean, and that's not fun at all. So I think they're great for maybe a photograph for something like that. But I think then having servers come over and take them and put them on trays and start passing them is the best thing that I've seen happen. So that way it's not breaking anything and they're getting served right away.
You get the best of both worlds there then too, because you get the wall and then you also get hand-passed drinks.
Yep, you get both. Yeah. But I do think that they're really great for that photograph. I think they're fun.
Yeah.
You know, any kind of tower. You could do like the martini towers. You can do the espresso martini towers. You can do margarita towers.
That's
like put the margaritas in a tower. I mean, it's just fun. You know, it's a fun thing. So I like that trend.
It's just a detail shot too. Yeah. It is a detail.
It's a shot.
Yeah, and maybe have your bridal party be the ones to enjoy the tower.
Yes.
Right? So then you know, like, we set it up, you take your moment, and then have them all grab one.
Yep.
Because I just am so afraid that my Grandma Joe is going to run into the tower and go click, click, click. Yes. And that's a moment too. You don't want that moment.
Because I just took a lot of time doing that.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a cost thing as well. I mean, that one is, you know, that's a luxury on top of the bar services in general. So, you know.
And how many glasses usually make a tower? I actually don't know.
I like to keep them smaller, so I do 12 to 15.
Well, guys, like, do the math.
Yeah.
$10 a glass. It adds up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's either, again, a luxury or a budget cut.
Yeah. Yep.
Can we speak in generalizations about budgets and pricing?
Yeah.
So if we have a 50-person wedding and we do 2 signature cocktails and 1 mocktail and beer and wine bar service, what does that generally cost?
So if you're looking for 50 people, do you want table service? You start to get into some very specific.
Sure.
If you want table service, you're adding event staff. You can start to go up. On an average, you're looking right around $3,000 without table service, without any of that kind of stuff. And then if we're supplying, if you're staying at well cost versus going into premiums, all of those. Are you using glassware? If you use glassware, then you have to have a bar back included to do the bar back portion of the glasses. They can really start to add up. Yeah. So I've seen them be anywhere from $3,000 to $12,000 for a 50-person wedding, depending on what you want.
And the location.
Yeah, that's correct.
Because you're in Washington. I'm just pointing that out.
And we're on a higher end over here.
Yeah. And if you do a wine pour or a champagne pass and looking at your guest count, it all depends on the budget.
It does. And doing table service increases the amount of wine and champagne you need. So your alcohol is going to almost double in your wine amounts versus just having it be at the bar, because people are going to ask for that glass of wine when they normally might not at the bar. So you're going to go through it, but then you're also going to waste. So a lot of times I talk with them about it. So how important is that to you? Is the cost there in your budget to be able to do that? Things like that.
I love wine pours. I think it makes such an experience.
It does.
So I'm just pushing it. Wine pours, everybody. It's so sexy.
It is. It really is. And if they can do it budget-wise, do it. Add the event staff to do it. That's part of the licensing and insurance parts, because the event staff has to come through us. Same with a catering company. They're not going to let me come in if they have the bar and let me pour. It has to be. They have to be licensed and insured under us, and able to be able to pour at that event. So the event staff has to be through us as well.
So I'm sharing just a little more detail on what a wine pour is. So a lot of times you pair a glass of wine with the first course, and it's making actually your meal more of an experience. If you're the couple that want the meal to be an experience, and also slows things down.
Yeah,
in a good way or a bad way. It's up to you what is important to you, but you're also making sure you're giving a complimentary something to your guests too. So maybe you go lighter on the cocktail hour and you focus on the wine pour.
That's Or you can switch out and you can do 1 hour of the signature cocktails, and then as soon as cocktail hour is over, you do that wine pour at the table, and your beer, wine, and champagne for the rest of the evening.
Yeah,
and the cocktails are done.
Yep, and you just put the extra wine that was not absorbed. You put it behind the bar, and you got still a little nice open bar afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
Sounds like endless options.
There are
too
endless
many
options. And the prices really do range for that kind of stuff, so what their drinks are. But I like it when they have a smaller, intimate wedding where we can do a smoke show and we can do some kind of fun, fancy things where we're interacting with the guests at the bar more versus just throwing them out a fast drink to get the line going. So I like those ones.
But we also like those 300 person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do. We do. Just a little bit different interaction and faster interaction at the bar.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
So tell us how we went from trailers to society.
Yeah. So Tipsy Trailer was started in 21 during COVID. A lot of people could not have indoor weddings at the time, and so my husband is a builder, and he built our first trailer. I was working in the courts, and the courts had actually stopped doing trials and shut down. So we figured, rather than me sitting through all of these divorce trials on Zoom forever, I was going to pick up, and we made a trailer. And I was going back to school to finish my law degree, and I was going to bartend out of the trailers while I did it. And that went from 1 trailer to 6 within the first year and a half-ish.
Which was at our best of too that year.
I was at your
launched.
best of with Jameson, our horse trailer, and our champagne wall there. But it just picked up because of COVID, and people had to have us outside, and it was perfect to be in the trailers outside. As we've grown into working more out of our trailers as well. With our liquor license in hand, we're doing a lot of events indoor at venues and not in our trailers. And I felt like although Tipsy Trailer is where we started and what's made us who we are, we have grown out of that. And the name wasn't very inclusive to everything that we do now. So having something that was inclusive was important to us. So we took out the trailer version of it and we put the Tipsy Society, because it has our trailers included, our bartending services outside of our trailers, and our photo booths, event staffing as well. But we're so much bigger than just the trailers now. So I felt like that was the right time.
That's great.
Yeah, and the name we love the name.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't confuse people, and they don't think they have to have the trailer with us.
Well, I want to be in your
anymore.
society.
Yeah, you're part of it now.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for sitting with
very
us
welcome.
today. It's been very educational. I think everybody's going to love this topic too.
I love it. It's a hot topic.
Yeah,
The bar
who
is
does-
always a hot topic.
Hot topic.
Hot toddy.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for tuning into Wedding Day Podcast. We'll see you next time. Bye.